All right, ladies and gentlemen, good Monday morning. Man, I went to get a cup of coffee here and I was about to type sell this rip. And I sat down and I didn't even have time to place that trade. This is not the bottom. I would sell this rip. We got a lot more pain to come. Um, let's get airborne. Hey, welcome aboard Full Throttle. We're going to knock out 2 days of full throttle training today and tomorrow, and then we're going to talk about some solo AI on Wednesday. Love doing this, man. Once a quarter, I open up the doors to everybody to come check out our flight squadron. You are in a regular live trade brief with current TGO members. They'll share with you what's going on. And I'm the only guy in the industry that does this. Everybody else will give you a death by 102 PowerPoint slides. We're going to be live in the market, trading my money. You can do whatever you want on your side of the computer in your bunny slippers and your robe. I really don't care. So we're going to do that today and tomorrow. Today is the primary live trade brief. We're going to talk about being bipolar. We're gonna get ready to pound this market deeper into the dirt, but we're also going to take a look at years out into the future. Unless, of course, you think this is the end and we're all going to die here. We are. Will die, but we'll transition to a higher level of consciousness. But this too shall pass, right? This is an incredible buying opportunity. The FAGMs, I guess we shouldn't use that acronym, right? Facebook, Amazon, Google, Microsoft, Meta. Insane. What was it? Microsoft below the and Meta below their 200-day moving averages for the first time in like 10 years. Buy all of this with both hands, right? Unless you think this is the end, right? World War III, nukes, and all sorts of stuff. I don't. So we'll talk a little bit about that today. Tomorrow, in AR, accelerated retirement, I'm going to talk about the most explosive sector. Now, I know I say AI is an explosive sector, but they're explosive sectors for different reasons. AI is going to put tens, if not hundreds of millions of humans out of work. It's going to ultimately kill all of us. And we'll make money here at Top Gun Options while all of that happens. The other sector we'll talk about in AR tomorrow that could prevent all of that or help us with that transition is the psychedelic sector. So, a lot of stuff to talk about tomorrow in AR, but also obviously Solo AI on Wednesday. Solo AI is a standalone separate service. It is not part of Full Throttle. Okay. Everybody give me a vertical head nod that you understand that. I will hit that about 90 more times and people still ask me, wait, is Solo AI part of Full Throttle? And then I will laugh at you. How many of you did your homework? All of you, unless you're a current member, were supposed to, as part of preparing for this, so I don't have to waste 20, 30 minutes this morning, you were supposed to listen to the welcome. Did all of you who were supposed to listen to the welcome aboard brief? If you didn't, you already failed and you owe me 50 push-ups. Let me give you the link to because I'm not gonna, talk about me anymore this morning. We're gonna jump right into it. So everybody click that link right now that I put in the chat box. Make sure you're subscribed to this YouTube channel. I'm currently live streaming on our YouTube channel, but Monday, Wednesday, Friday, I put out free content. The Monday market outlook. How's the week look? A Wednesday sit rep. What's the midweek situation report? And then a Friday market wrap up. Those are all free. They're all on this channel. Make sure you subscribe to it. But you needed to watch the welcome aboard, folks. 20, 30 minutes, who I am, my background, all that type of stuff. Good. All right. Well, a lot of you did. So that makes my heart smile. People actually listened. That is fan-effing-tastic. Okay. If you didn't, don't do it right now. Listen to me and then catch up afterwards. Just a 2-minute summary. My name's Matthew Buckley. My call sign's Wiz, former Navy F-18 fighter pilot, instructor pilot down at Miramar in a Marine squadron. Went to Top Gun, graduated from the adversary program. I was a bad guy. I was a good bad guy. Deployed for Operation Southern Watch, Noble Eagle, and Enduring Freedom. I flew combat sorties over Iraq off what? The Abraham Lincoln. My old boat's right there in the thick of it today. And then my second deployment was on Kitty Hawk. What's that have to do with trading? everything. I taught myself how to trade when I was on active duty, had a very brief airline career the morning of September 11th, first and last day at work, essentially at American Airlines, ended up racing out to Naval Air Station Fort Worth and manning a combat air patrol. Went from potentially flying in an airliner that day to shooting one down. Got furloughed, man. I had to pay the mortgage, the bills, the health care, and everything like that. So I started trading full time, applied everything I was learning as a fighter pilot to my trading, blew the doors off of it, popped up on the radar of one of the largest equity options volatility arbitrage firms on the face of the planet. Multi-billion-dollar firm I helped run as the managing director of strategy. I built a hedge fund when I was there. I helped build the retail brokerage some of you might have traded with called Options House. Built my own media company there called the Options News Network, the CNBC for options. It was fun. I had an absolute blast. All right, here we go. I'm keeping an eye on the S&P 500 on my other screens here to see if we get a turn. And we'll talk about that in a minute. The structure of the brief you're going to see today, tomorrow, and Wednesday, copy paste, right? Discipline, risk management, superior execution. Here's the discipline. SOT. This ain't rocket surgery, folks. This ain't hard. In a couple minutes, you're going to get a strategic brief. What's going on around the world, man? In the old days, I think enough people know about Top Gun options that they don't ask this, but sometimes 10 years ago, 5 minutes into the brief, people are like, hey, where's the trades? I'm like, right click, boot. And I'd throw those people out. You're a horrible trader if you wake up and you go, where are the trades? Man, you got to know what's going on. Pick up your binoculars, open up your radar scope. What's going on around the world, right? I'm old enough to remember a Greek debt crisis. Remember that? All this stuff around the world. Russia invading Ukraine. We're in something that you got to worry about right now. Operation Epic Fury and essentially almost a world at war right now. The Houthis getting in, not the blowfish, over the weekend, maybe closing off the Red Sea. This is going to get worse. So we're going to do a quick strategic brief. Then we peel back the onion and we go one layer deep operationally here in the United States. What's going on with the Fed? We're getting ready for earnings, right? Financial earnings are coming up here. Usually financials run up into earnings, right? Buy the rumor, and then they sell the news. What the hell's going on now? So we got earnings coming up. We got Fed. We got inflation. We got oil. We have a government effing shutdown. These people are an absolute disgrace. I can't stand it. I don't even want to. I meditated this morning. I took my microdose, went to yoga. I'm centered, but man, this infuriates me. Okay. Almost as much as 80% of Americans wanting some form of ID for you to be able to vote, and they can't fucking pass it in Washington. 80% of the American people are like, I use an ID every day to do stuff, fly in an airplane, buy alcohol, you check into a hotel. No ID to vote. Everybody except the 20% of idiots in this country know the people who don't want voter IDs because of fraud. Okay. Why am I on this tangent? Because that's the operational level. We're still in a government shutdown. I'm actually flying out to Denver on Thursday to spend spring break with my son and my beautiful bride, and I'm daughter Keely. Jack was over in Ireland and Spain for St. Patrick's Day, and we missed him when we were skiing. So we're heading out there. All right. After we peel back the layer and we go operational, then and only then am I going to talk about trades and get tactical. Let me fix your terms right now. If you came into this brief going, my favorite option strategy is this, you're an idiot. There is no such thing as an option strategy. There are only tactics. Tactics in iron condor, synthetic stock, a bull put spread, support a strategy. Learn your terms. Can't stand that. I'll go play Secret Squirrel at other places and they're like, today's option strategy. I'm like, done, out. Learn the terms. Now, did everybody get their trade plan? Do you have your trade plan right now? I'll give you it again. Let me open up. Does everybody have their trade plan handy? It's so funny, man, because people, this PC, where's my case studies? Nope. Does everybody have their trade plan? You should have your trade plan. Let me go get it just in case you don't. Open up my folder here. 7-step proprietary trade plan, folks. Trading is a form of combat. If you're not using a plan to trade, say it with me. Guy uses the word idiot a lot. Well, as an F-18 instructor pilot, guess what? You had to use that term a lot. All right, so let me upload it. There it is. I'll be nice and give it to you again. You should have showed up to the brief with it. All right, there we go. TGO Trade Plan 2026. Everybody look in the chat box right now and give me a vertical head nod that you have your trade plan. Everybody got it? That's what the cover looks like. Okay, so quick overview of our methodology. Here we go, right? SOT, strategic, operational, tactical, right? Strategic, we're going to talk about global economics, tariffs, inflation, central banks, debt, geopolitical events, wars, elections, sanctions, military conflicts, global market conditions, commodities, man. Obviously, commodities right now, the market, the futures popped this morning on another Trump bullshit tweet. Everything's great, peace, it's almost over with, or I'm going to kill everybody. Okay, man, the market's done. The Trump put is busted. There ain't no, he can't jawbone this market higher. And we're going to talk about that soon. Then we're going to peel the onion, go operational, the Fed, interest rates, earnings, what's going on, inflation numbers, what's going on politically, and then we're going to get tactical. That's the trade plan. I just gave it to you again. That was used over the skies of Iraq and on the floor in the Chicago Board Options Exchange and the Chicago Board of Trade. Quick 3 minutes on options. If you're sitting here like some of my Marine buddies, Wiz, I don't even know how to spell the word option. Let me just run down real quick. If you trade stocks, you're a chump, and you're going to learn that in about 20 minutes. It makes no sense to buy another share of stock again, unless you like a dividend, or there are some rare, very extreme, really rare cases. It makes no sense to buy stocks ever again. This is why I love doing Full Throttles. By the end, I get emails or whatever from people like, I can't, where you been all my life? I can't believe I've been wasting money trading stocks. Like if depending on how I'm feeling, we look at Amazon, we'll either look at Amazon today or tomorrow, man. Amazon's about $200 a share right now, man. Do you have $20,000 right now to buy Amazon? If you do, still don't do it. That's ridiculous. I'm going to show you how using options is a fraction of the cost. What's an option? Folks, you use options all the time. It's a contract. What do contracts have? An effective date and usually a price, right? That's all it is. One option contract controls 100 shares of stock for a predetermined time. 95, close to 100% of options contracts never get exercised. You get out of them, and that's what I'm going to teach you this week, okay? Risk. Stocks can go to zero, baby. Enron, Bear Stearns, Lehman Brothers, Pets.com. Stocks can go to zero, folks. Options, all you can lose is essentially what you paid for those things, right? The options contract. Leverage with a stock, 1 for 1. $1 is $1, right? Leverage with options, 10 to 1, sometimes even 50 to 1. That's why small moves can be outsized returns. The percentage returns trading options over stocks is obscene, right? Income, dividends, boring. Income, weekly premium by selling options. We're going to talk about that as well. Volatility hurts you when you're trading stocks. Volatility is a weapon. Now, looking at a chart of the S&P 500 and the volatility index, it's up, it's down, it's red. People are panicking. I love it. Now, I'm bipolar and so am I. What do I mean? As Wiz, I don't like it. People's 401ks are a 201k today and probably going to be a 101k before this is over with. I don't like that. I don't like people hurting. I don't like people in pain or losing money. And then I'll turn into Gordon Gekko from the movie Wall Street or Jordan Belfort. Good. I love blood in the streets. I love volatility. I love the market imploding. Options premiums go through the roof. It's a hurricane. When you sell hurricane insurance, you do a rain dance because you want hurricanes, right? Not to hit, obviously. And of course, they end up not paying out. Protection, ladies and gentlemen, none built into a stock. It's the buy, hope, and pray method. You buy a stock, you hope it goes up. If it doesn't, you pray. Options, you can make money if the stock goes up, down, or sideways. I'm going to train you how to do this, folks. It ain't hard. And we're going to talk about making money off of this war. If you don't like this, leave. Right? Just like Gordon Gekko said in the movie Wall Street, if you want a friend, get a dog. I'm here to teach you how to make money. I don't like war. My son is literally driving north. He just texted me. He just passed Beaufort. He's driving up to Dover Air Force Base. He's being mobilized for Operation Epic Fury. Not going to tell you where or what he's doing, but he's driving north right now. I hate war. If you did your homework and you watched the video, you know I run the No Fallen Heroes Foundation and also started Sacred Warrior Fellowship. We just did a retreat this past weekend. I am picking up the pieces of people who think they're broken, who serve this country in wars. I hate it. War is the ultimate failure of the human condition. It doesn't get any more further away from God and your fellow human to kill another human. Period. Now, psychedelic therapy, blah, 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 all sorts of stuff like that, man. I'm doing my best to either stop this or heal people, right? Now, since these people suck, Iran, Trump, everybody who wants to fight, Putin, Zelensky, I'm going to make money off of it. And guess what we do? I do with a lot of my money. My bride and I throw it over the fence into our nonprofit so we can help people, right? Making money's great, but you're not a pharaoh. Anybody in here a pharaoh? Are they going to stuff all the stuff in your casket, all your money in your things to pay the ferryman across? No, you're not. So we throw it over the fence to try and help people heal. But look at some of these returns. Raytheon is a gift. We're going to talk about Raytheon. It's a gift. They're hosing off $1 million missiles at drones and everything like that. We'll talk about the economics of stupidities like that. But Raytheon has so many orders. They have positive cash flow like 10 years into the future. So that is, and here are some of the returns of TGO members since we put on some Raytheon. But look at, since April, this is almost a year return. 322%. David, 800. I mean, look at this. July of 2025, folks, 430%, 900 since last March. So there's an example, ladies and gentlemen, of options destroying stocks. Okay, look at that. That's under 20 minutes. I'm like, man, I wanted that to be at least under 25. I am printing money. Okay, so let's go ahead and go live. We're going to go SOT. I'm going to treat you. And if you're, man, this guy's speaking way too fast. I feel like I'm drinking from a fire hose. Good. I'm treating you essentially like this is a current member brief. Before I forget, here is the replay page. So right now, what's on here are the replays from the last Full Throttle, Amazon earnings trade, accelerated retirement, welcome aboard brief. So this isn't up to date yet, obviously, because I'm in the first brief of this one, but this is where all the replays will be posted. Today's brief will be right in here, right at the top, okay? But there is the replay page for this brief, okay? Let me cover that before we get airborne. All right, here we go. Couple Marine Expeditionary Units getting in place, 82nd Airborne getting in place. For potential ground operations. I'm not, the president's tweet or whatever he calls it, True Social Post this morning, he's lying. They're lying. They're both lying, right? Welcome to war. Or he's telling a little bit of the truth, right? Or he's telling his truth. What do I mean by that? I'm sure he's talking to people. We are talking to people in Iran who don't want to die. They're heavies that the Mossad's letting them live. So But this is what happens when you decapitate the first and third group of heavies and start picking off the tertiary. Who's running the place? Nobody. If you don't know, after Operation Midnight Hammer last year, my brother Raising Cane, I've known Raising Cane for over 2 decades. Great American, great dude. Um, what did the Iranians come up with? They came up with what's called the Mosaic Plan, not your JetBlue group. Mosaic meaning if we get clipped, the Ayatollah and a bunch of us get clipped, all you local commanders, you're cleared hot. Start rippling off bottle rockets in every direction. It'll piss all the our brothers, right, off, and they'll turn against the Americans too. Well, that didn't work so far. Matter of fact, the UAE is chomping at the bit to like invade Iran at this point because they're so pissed. The UAE is taking the brunt of most of this, and they're furious. We're actually having to hold some of these Arab countries back because they're like, that's it. I thought we were brothers, and they're attacking us. So we want the uranium. So Trump's saying his True Social post this morning. We're talking great dudes. We're talking to. We're going to have peace, but if we don't, we're going to kill everybody, blow up the electrical plants, desalinization plants, and everything, and Carg Island. So again, I think he's talking to people. Do they have the authority to speak for the regime, right? The South Park cardboard cutout dude, I think, is dead, unless they're just keeping him hidden, right? Everybody said he was wounded. Apparently, he was flown to Moscow for surgery, blah, blah, blah. So I don't know how this ends. Again, he tweeted like, I got a nice gift, big gift from the dead mullahs. I got 20 ships. They're gonna, this was a gift to me. Man, just shut up. Just stop. Either finish the mission or end it at this point. I am really, really, really pissed at Russia. But welcome to war. When we got involved in Ukraine, Russia, which in my opinion is essentially a civil war in Eastern Europe, on Ukraine's side, obviously, weapons, targeting, everything. So our targeting and weapons have been used to kill Russians. Right? Now, you might support that. You might be against it. I really don't care. Guess what the Russians are doing? Did you see the E-3 Sentry, the AWACS jet that was destroyed at PSAB? Prince Sultan Air Base. I've been to PSAB. I was stationed in Riyadh for 3 months. Shoot me. I was the mobile targeting officer in the KAOC, the Combined Air Operations Center. I know this shit. I know what I'm talking about. The Russians, that they hit, not the Russians, maybe it was the Russians, but the Iranians hit an AWAC in the dome. That's a $500 million aircraft. It's a 707. We're not making those anymore. We are taking some punches, and it's China and Russia who are giving them the targeting information. Okay. And to the tanker dudes, we already lost 6 in a midair collision last month. These people are in PSAB going, we're in the rear echelon, man. We service the AWACS planes. Boom. I saw that at least 10 have traumatic brain injuries. Again, the No Fallen Heroes Foundation is here to get these heroes when they return home because the VA fucking sucks. And traumatic brain injury can be significantly helped by ibogaine, one of the most powerful. You also have to know that China and Russia have egg on their face. What's the Chinese radar, the J-27A or what? Your gear, Vlad and Xi, sucks. Did you see the report that he killed? Where is it? Xi Jinping just killed a bunch of other generals. He's like looking at, there's the AWACS. Look at that thing. He killed like a bunch of generals because, first of all, they stole the F-35 plans, right? The Chinese are just dirty, dirty people, man. not necessarily the people, the leadership. They steal everything that's not nailed down. They stole the plans for the F-35. They made their own J-20. Xi was briefed, man, we stole this stuff. We built our own. We built a J-20. It's awesome. It's an F-35 ski. And our J whatever 27 radar can see the F-35 coming. We're awesome. Venezuela and Iran had the Gucciest of Gucciest Chinese and Russian equipment. It sucks. So my sources, which are I trust with my life, are like, man, Xi just did another clipping of the dudes in charge of all of those programs. Businessmen too. Wow. So this is it's really, really, really interesting. The Gulf is divided and sees dark times ahead. Somebody just asked about the Strait of Hormuz. Now I just caught myself. I was about to say I'm glad this happened. I am not glad this happened. What I was going to say is this finally happened, meaning, folks, when I was on the Kitty Hawk, I was a strike lead. When I was flying combat sorties over Iraq, you know what I was doing during my downtime? Planning missions into Iran. I was the carrier air wing strike lead of a strike into a mine factory. Mine, not mines, like in a Central Park with the white face in Manhattan. Although I would have taken out a mine factory too. Folks, this was the mid 90s. We've been planning this forever. How come we haven't planned? I mean, the Saudis did a semi-decent job of saying, why don't we build a big pipeline to the Red Sea? Because our brothers in Iran might someday close the Strait of Hormuz. Do you remember 3 weeks ago, all the idiots and Democrats in the media were like, I can't believe Hegseth and Kane and Trump didn't know the Iranians would try and shut the strait down. Are you people that fucking stupid? Are you that? Yes, most of those people are, of course. Now we have A-10s and we have Blackhawks in the Strait of Hormuz doing gun runs and keeping this thing open, right? So only one of two things can happen here. The United States gets full control of the Strait of Hormuz, or it doesn't. And this is going to get worse. So is there going to be a gray? Let me brief the potential gray area. No, we're going to meet in the middle. Iran gets tolls like Egypt does in the Suez Canal. Oh boy. I don't think Trump wants that either. But if you've heard the term taco, right? Trump always chickens out. There's another term called taw. Trump always wins. So even when he loses, he wins, right? So $100 oil, and let me fast forward to November, the midterms, it's over with. The Republicans, and they deserve it, will be decimated. The Republicans, now I'm shifting more into an operational part of the brief. The Republicans are going to get destroyed and they deserve it. John Thune's a coward. They can't pass the SAVE Act. I'm pretty sure we're either in a recession right now or we're approaching a recession. So this is going to be a nightmare. We're going to talk about that as the midterms get closer and how we can trade that, because guess what's going to happen the second, I can't believe I'm going to say this, but I'm going to say it, Speaker of the House Hakeem Jeffries gets the gavel. The first thing that will happen is Donald J. Trump will be impeached for the third time. They will bring Kristi Noem up. They will impeach Pete Hegseth. It will be an absolute disaster. The last 2 years of Trump's term will be a shit show. I guarantee you, ladies and gentlemen. Do you know what's coming when the Republicans, hell, they might lose the Senate, right? If they lose the Senate. And remember, ladies and gentlemen, when do you find out that you're in a recession, right? It's not the BLS. The Bureau of Labor Statistics doesn't wake up one day at a press conference and go, as of 0800 this morning, we entered a recession. 6 to 8 months, right? Do you understand this? The data lag. So usually what happens is it's like, well, this morning we can report that the US entered a recession in Q2 of 2026. I think we're already in one. Have you seen the jobs numbers lately? They suck. They're awful. AI is, the last count is over 300,000 folks, white collar jobs are gone, right? So this is bad. This is really bad. Now, saying all this, folks, the market really wants a relief rally. We are under the 20-day, we are under the 50-day, we are under the 200-day moving average. But each one of these dips, you should have sold the rip. And we have lower to go. We are not anywhere close to being out of this. I said last week, and I'm going to say it again, we're in the third quarter. I think when I was skiing last week in Aspen, flew Eric Trump in the No Fallen Heroes Foundation fighter jet. When he said, 5-day pause, I'm not going to blow up all your power pants. Awesome. The pause is awesome. Everything's awesome. I said, that's probably halftime. And then we turned around and here we are again. So we're probably in the third quarter. We're not at the beginning. We're not close to the end. We're in the third quarter. And it's really interesting to see the goalposts move from Democrats and liberals and the media, right? Oh, another rocket hit. Folks, have you seen the amount of rockets? They're down like 98%. I don't care how many missiles Iran have. Why? Missiles need what? Say it with me. Launchers. Not only until they get humanoid robots, which Iran won't have anytime soon, they need humans to operate said launchers. So they could have thousands of missiles left, folks. It doesn't matter. They don't have launchers anymore, or they're being taken out, and they don't got the dudes. Do you think there's a line around the door of the recruiting office in downtown Tehran? Wanted missile operators. No. So it is, we're going to get the random, I want to meet Allah dudes that will ripple off their rockets. Do you understand? And I'm not going to get too deep into this, that whenever something happened in Iraq when I was the mobile targeting officer, when something fired, I knew exactly where it was fired from and what it was, more or less. Do you not think, and that was years ago, folks, do you not think today that we probably have a little better technology and those people cease to exist the second that thing is rippled off? Does everybody understand that? US tech stocks have rarely been cheap. Okay. Now we're going to get to the point, and Jamie Dimon's always a sky has fallen, but last week Jamie Dimon warns on AI job losses, calls for government business incentives. There's Mr. Capitalist right there. Jamie Dimon calling for, oh, we need Uncle Sam to bail us out. Excuse me. I'm gonna save this more towards Wednesday, all this stuff. But every hour that goes by when I refresh all this stuff, there's more and more stuff. Have you seen this in the past couple of weeks? That one company. Last year, I remember showing a video of like an Optimus One robot that couldn't, took like 20 minutes to fold a towel. Have you seen this? This is insane. And over here in our member area, posting about the phlebotomists, right? The people who do over at Quest that draw your blood. 140,000 jobs will be gone. Do you see? And it sucks, man. I'm pretty good because I got military veins and they love me. The ladies that do it are like, oh my God, Susie, you can't. She comes home whenever she does blood stuff and she's black and blue. This thing, these phlebotomist robots, perfect every time. Surgeons gone, doctors gone. Anything, and it's so funny. It's not funny. I'll brief this Wednesday, but like 3 weeks ago, it was all these jobs that are getting lost, all these white collar jobs. And at the bottom of what you'll see Wednesday said, but these are safe. What did I say 3 weeks ago? I'm like, not for long. Electrician, plumber, construction worker. On Wednesday morning, you're going to see videos of Chinese robots doing backflips, swinging hammers, and doing electrical work. AI is going to destroy millions of jobs. What do those people do when they are unemployed? The Accenture VP who made 500 to 750 last year is gone. I'm telling you, an absolute horror is coming. It's going to be bad. There you go, William. They become traders. That's exactly what you need to do is learn how to trade so you can profit off all of this. Okay, let's go ahead and get tactical. Now, let me do, this is an ugly looking chart. And I love looking at this stuff. Let me open up the chart a little bit. Year and a half. Look at this is the S&P 500, folks. The last time we had a freak out was this time last year, man. What are we in? End of March? Hell, we were Trump did us again, right? This is Trump induced. Right there, folks. Does everybody remember the Liberation Day? It's Liberation Day. Liberation. Everybody screws us. I'm going to turn around and fight everybody. We imploded. Liberation Day tariffs and then he kind of tacoed right here, which is what the market just did. Like, oh, I'm a benevolent dictator, and then it didn't believe him, right? Until, no kidding, he capitulated. Down at the bottom last year was what? The Treasury Secretary, Scott Bessent, ran into the Oval Office and said, enough. The bond market's destroyed. Over 5 on the yield. We're done. It's over. And then Trump. I got deals. Everybody signed a deal. Beautiful deals, which was a lie. Who did anybody? I think it was Vietnam. I think there was like, has anybody seen a deal, a trade deal? I'm old enough to remember Trump the first during the trade war with China. The phase 1 trade deal, 3 dudes flied over, the vice premier flew over, and Trump, for a signing ceremony, he ambushed those 3 dudes. Classic Trump. They were on stage. They thought they were like there for a signing ceremony, and Trump at the podium went around the room for an hour. There's Ken Griffin. Ken from Citadel. Love Ken. Stand up, Ken. Oh, Boeing. Look at, he pat himself on the back for an hour before they even got to here's what I'm getting at. This was all bullshit. How many trade deals? Somebody go look it up. I don't even know. My point being is, this is also Trump induced. Do you think, and here's the best part about trading options before I show you a couple trades, from this instant forward in the rest of the brief, if you don't believe me, that's fine. Guess what? That's what makes a market. If you think that everything I'm going to say after this, you believe the exact opposite, you do the exact opposite trade. The trades that I'm going to show you right now, you can say, no, I believe the opposite, and you just switch the strikes around. Isn't that a beautiful thing? Now, a couple things first. If you believe, let me pull up, maybe I'll do that first. I'm going to do that first. And this is what you do in a live trade brief. You get to see me shucking and jiving because I like feeling things out. Where's my full throttle? Let me go find those. So, I mean, these are old slides, but look at this. Let me scroll down here. I want to show you something. If you think, does anybody think we're not going to bottom out here? Where is it? Does anybody, first of all, we do have lower to go. I don't know how much lower. Here it is right here. Let me just show you. This is, and I love talking like this. This is the turn of the century, right? There's 2000. I'm sitting in the ready room in Miramar, California. Just got hired by FedEx, got hired by an F-18 squadron, reserve.com boom. Pop. We imploded. We bottomed out around 2002-ish, 3-ish. And then what happened? Wiz went to Chicago. I was at ground zero right there during the GFC, the global financial crisis. Oh my God, we're all going to die. Nope. The Fed jumped it. Look at that. You remember the bottom? What was the bottom in the S&P 500? Say it with me. 666. That's its own separate conversation and discussion. That really creeps me out. Okay. Then what happened? We never looked back. Wasn't a straight line, was it? Well, where's the scandemic? Right there. There's the COVID crash, buying opportunity. This, ladies and gentlemen, do you remember this? The media doesn't, or the Democrats don't. This was Joe Biden's bear market. 25% implosion. In 2022, Joe Biden spent like a drunken sailor. I know what a drunken sailor is. And inflation at 9.1%. Here's what I'm getting at. Does anybody see a trend on that chart? Up and to the right. We figure it out. It's not a straight line, but let's look at the next one. I'm going to age myself, folks. That's when I started trading. Bottom left of the chart, Naval Air Station Key West as an ensign. That was my first duty station. I sent 25 bucks, 50, whatever it was. That was a lot of money for me, to the USAA Aggressive Growth Mutual Fund. And then it's been look at this ride. This chart is from this time last year because people were calling this a meltdown. You see that in the top right of this chart? You see that red circle? That was the meltdown this time last year that people were panicking about. Now look at it. There's the dot-com boom. There's the global financial crisis. Buy. And then we never looked back. Why? Because the Fed got involved in capitalism, and that was the worst day for our country. If you ever saw any of my Options News Network briefs from around that time, I said, I said, Ben Bernanke, remember him, the Fed chief? I said, do not get involved to save capitalism. If you have to jump in here to save capitalism, it's not capitalism. Things need to burn. AIG should have been allowed to fail, but George Bush, the coke addict, not his dad, the naval aviator, believed Paulson, former head of Goldman Sachs, ran into the Oval Office. We need to do something. All the Wall Street's going to fail. Good. I actually remember walking through the riot crowds of Occupy Wall Street people to get into the Board of Trade. They were right. Why the fuck are you bailing out Lloyd Blankfein at Goldman Sachs? The dude's got a $50 million house in the Hamptons. Why are you bailing him out? Separate political conversation. Here's what I'm getting at before we place our first trade. If you believe, like Abraham Lincoln's famous quote that he tells a story about, this too shall pass. We're America. We figure it out. Whatever happens in Iran, we will figure it out. Something good will happen of it. Trump gets impeached. He's not going to get convicted. He might this time around. Who knows? We will figure it out. If you believe we will figure it out, we can do what is called a bullish on America trade today. For a small investment, years into the future, you could potentially make 6 figures. You ready? Now, one more time, I'm going to remind you, if you don't believe this, get bearish and pound the market into the dirt. But I pray to God that's not the case. So I'm going to bring up what is called SPX. It's the S&P 500, the index. How many names are in the S&P 500? It's like that Bugs Bunny cartoon. Who's buried in Grant's tomb? So ladies and gentlemen, let me deselect these strikes. For those of you that are new to options, here's first of all my brokerage platform. At the top, ladies and gentlemen, is what? Dates. An option contract, like I told you, is what? It's a contract. It's got a price and it's got a date. So these are the dates of when the options contracts for the S&P 500 would expire. So I'm going to hop in my time machine right now, and I'm going to go as far out in time as humanly possible on the S&P 500. You can go years into the future on the S&P 500. December of 3031. If you believe, Wiz, in the next 5 years, we're going to We're going to get our ass kicked right now, but we'll figure it out and we're going to move up and to the right. Then we can get bullish, right? So I went as far into the future as I can on the S&P 500, okay? Why are my option strikes grayed out? And E-Trade went down last week. Anybody having a problem? Let me just reopen my brokerage account here. I don't know why E-Trade's strikes are grayed out. They went down on expiration Friday. Man, that would have been a nightmare. Knock on wood. I think we only, and there goes the S&P. We're breaking down here. So we're going to place a front month trade on the S&P 500 too. That's going to be bearish. We are going much lower, in my opinion. Let's try this again. Hang on 1 second. Maybe I should do the bearish trade on the front month first because we're rolling over here. Let me try it again. All right. Options. SPX. All right. Now we're starting to come back to life here. Let me deselect that. Let me deselect that. All the way into the future. All right. Sorry about that. So let me open it up to all the options contracts and all the prices. And this is my trade from last week. I already got filled. But for all the new folks, listen to me. And who is it? Tom Lee? I was talking to Catherine this morning at yoga. Tom Lee, guy's been wrong a lot. But the other day, he's like, the S&P 500 is going to double in the next 5 years. Easily. He's been wrong a lot, but he's agreeing with me on this. If you believe in the next 5 years, this is a Warren Buffett trade too. The guy always bets on America. He knows that what? Even if something horrific happens, and it shouldn't, the government shouldn't do this, the Fed jumps in to save capitalism. Jerome Powell, he's on TV right now. I'm going to turn on the money printer. He did it in the scandemic. Ben Bernanke did it in the financial crisis. Powell did it in the scandemic. It sucks, but it's good for the market. And let me hit you with a wizism real quick. The market is not the economy. As a matter of fact, the worse the economy gets, the better the stock market will do. What? You heard me. Because of what I just told you. When everything's horrible in the economy, what does the Fed do? Turn on the printers. Let's print more money. What does the Treasury do? Ladies and gentlemen, it should not be this way. Trust me, you're preaching to the choir. Things should be allowed to fail. I'm sick of this everybody gets a trophy bullshit. Not how I raised I'd love when we went to hockey tournaments and stuff. If the boys didn't get first place, we'd laugh. It was Ricky Bobby. If you're not first, you're last. They threw here's your second place medal out. They threw that shit in the trash, man. Here we go. We're at 6,000 on the S&P 500. We were at 7,000 recently, weren't we? Let's pull that chart up in the background. Look at that. We peaked right at $7,000 on the S&P 500. I'm going to say we're at 7,000. We're going to get back there soon. Trust, I'm pretty sure. Why don't we buy a $14,000 call option years into the future? Buy one $14,000 call. Okay? That's going to cost you $4,900. You could just do that. Wiz, I'm going to buy one call option and I'm going to put it in my filing cabinet and forget about it. I'll look at it 2-3 years into the future. Okay? Yeah. I'm cheap. I want to have somebody else help pay for that call. So what I could do is sell a higher strike call against it. Now, if you don't understand what any of this means, I'm going to teach you in what's called options weapons school. I'll talk about that in a little bit. But real quick, when you sell something, what do you get? Money. When you buy something, what do? It costs me money. So on your screen right now, I'm buying a call option that costs me money, but I'm selling a higher strike against it, which is bringing in some money, right? So instead of spending, what was it, $4,800, whatever that just the call option was, this trade is now $1,900, right? Now, you might be sitting there go, well, I don't know any other math here. Well, watch this. Let's just round up. For $1,900 today, ladies and gentlemen, let's go analyze this trade. You're risking $1,900 to potentially make $200,000. How many of you would risk $1,900 today to potentially make 200 grand? Yeah, it's a wide bid ask, folks, but guess where I got filled last week? Right at mid-market. So it's wide, but it ain't necessarily. Because listen to me, folks. Why is there, and whoever said that, they are looking at the bid. What's a bid? Well, let's start with the ask. I want to sell my house for $5 million. I'm asking $5 million. Somebody just walked up to me and bid $10. I'm not even going to, they're an idiot. I'm not even going to answer that. So yes, it's a wide bid ask. So you can sell the 15s. You can do whatever you want. I'm talking through just this basic trade right now. So ladies and gentlemen, the worst thing that can happen is what? You lose $1,800. We covered this last Wednesday in our AR brief, our accelerated retirement, because technically this is a retirement trade, right? Let me show you the one I did. This is in my account. I bought the 15,000 call and sold the 16 against it. That trade is risking $1,400 to make 100 grand. And I forget what I got filled at, but folks, I got filled close to the market here, right? Because remember, on the other side of this trade are who? People saying, this is it. This is World War III. They might not be wrong, man. I'm hearing a little rumors like Netanyahu might just light off a nuke. You know what? I've had it. We're not going to get the. I'm not sending the Mossad or the 82nd Airborne into what's it called? It flew out of my head. The one nuke place where they think the uranium is. We're going to drop a nuke on it. So, folks, the reason that there's premium in here is because people 5 years out into the future, like, it's over with. There are disaster people out there. So this is what makes a market. So somebody asks, like, hey, why don't you do the 15? You can do whatever you want, baby. Let's talk about a couple more contracts too. Let's buy the 14,000 and sell the 16 against it. Let's go with my original trade. Now it's $1,900. Okay. Why don't we do, that's just one contract. Why don't we do more? In my model portfolio accounts, I manage $100,000 accounts. My SOP is I don't want to risk more than 5%, 5 grand on any one trade, right? But for AR, accelerated retirement, I wouldn't mind, since this is a years into the future trade, risking anywhere from 15 to 25 on this trade. But let's just go a couple more contracts. Let's go up to like close to 5 grand. There you go. This trade risks $5,900. Okay. What's the potential gain? $600,000. I want that to sink in. How many of you would spend 50, and you're probably going to have to go up a little bit. It might be six grand, a little bit above the bid. But I'm telling you, folks, I got filled last week right at mid-market on this trade. So why, again, I'm not going to repeat everything I just said. It's a wide bid ask for a reason. So ladies and gentlemen, how many of you would risk 6 grand over the next 5 years to potentially make over $500,000? This is why I call this a bullish on America trade. If you think in the next 5 years, ain't going to be a straight line. I'm telling you right now, we're most likely in a recession. Since John F. Kennedy, since 1960, ladies and gentlemen, every president's sophomore year sucked. We are in Trump's sophomore year. We're in a war. even though he's calling it a special military operation, which is ironically what Vladimir Putin says about Ukraine. That's creepy. Um, Inflation, jobs, AI. So the sophomore year might suck. I placed my bullish on America trade last week. It's already underwater a couple grand. I don't care. If anything, I'll take a yellow sticky, and every time I look at, I'm not even gonna, don't even look at this thing. Current TGO members, and there's, now you're gonna know why I limit each quarter only 25 people in full throttle, because there's about 9 trillion comments going on right now. I can't stand it. So, current TGO members, I don't know if you've done this already. Everybody give me your, or give your fellow potential new members, the last time in a dip on my wife's, my beautiful bride's birthday, April 27th, I remember it, we did a bullish on America trade. Current TGO members, please place your current bullish on America trade gains, because I know a bunch of you did that one and are printing money. Go ahead and do that now as I shift over to, you know what, I'll show you what this looks like. Let me do this real quick. And you could do this, folks, like I just told you, buy, sell. There are people who, hell, Wiz, this is in my retirement account. Hell, I wouldn't mind putting 25 grand against this trade. A quarter of my IRA or something like that. 13 contracts would be 25 grand in risk. You ready for this? $2.6 million. 69% profits closed. Mitch closed his when the war started. $8,500 per contract, Paul. Ladies and gentlemen, if you have a nice medium-sized retirement account, would you take 25 grand of it to potentially make $2.6 million? And you don't have to hold this trade to maturity. I already closed my bullish on America trade from that tariff one a little before Mitch did. It was like up here. I forget why I did it. Mine was up like 150%. I had made like 15, 20 grand in 8 months on my bullish on America trade. I didn't know war was coming, but I forget why I closed it. But folks, that was in less than a year. I had seen that. Does everybody understand this? Now, a lot of you sitting there might be like, dude, I don't have 25 grand. Do one contract, man. Right there. You just saw the one I did. I did the 15-16 last week. This one risks $1,400 to make $99,000. I'm going to do the 14-16, and I'll send this out as the trade alert. Any questions on this? Maybe that's what it was, Paul. I think one of the AI freakouts, I bailed on mine too. But as you just saw, and men lie, trades don't, I'm showing you my real brokerage account. I put on a new bullish on America trade last week. It's underwater a little bit. I really don't care. It's years into the future. So if you did this trade today, you'd be getting into a bullish on America trade better than your instructor did. I love that. So let me show you real quick the power of the fully operational Death Star here. Let me go show you what we do in our alerts. So right now, we're in the primary brief. So I'm going to do this. New SPX bullish on America trade to Dees of 31. What do? I hit at everyone. Okay. And now I'm going to insert the trade images. So you could be working with, I work Mondays at 10 a.m. Great. 80 to 85% of current TGO members work for a living. They don't attend the live trade briefs. They get this alert when I'm going to blast it right now, and then they'll watch the replay, during the lunch break or when the kids go to bed. So there's the screenshots of the trade. I hit at everyone. Now everybody, 712 people, are going to get an alert on their app, on their phone. Email alerts are 20 years ago. Text alerts are 15 years ago. These are instantaneous. You see that Go Collab? That just popped up. I just got this trade alert. So that's what we do live. Curtis on the 14th said, what's the price have to be in 2031 to realize the it needs to be at 16 or above at that higher strike. Yep. And remember, you can, when you click analyze on this trade, this is my trade I put last week. When you click analyze, you just move. Let me highlight some things. Look down here and let me hit close that. So folks, at least on E-Trade platform, you can move along here and you can see, hey, if it does this by this date, this is how much I'd be making down here. So yeah, right? That's what you do. Every brokerage platform should have something like this where you can go out into the future. I mean, you can hit Analyze and Trade Lab on E-Trade and do that, right? Let me scroll down here. See, like up here. That makes sense. Every brokerage account does this. Now, whoever just asked that, Sam or whatever, I'm not done yet. I told you at the beginning of this brief, I'm going to be bipolar, and so am I. I think we have lower to go. Period. This will get worse before it gets better. This will end. It's going to end. I don't know when it's going to be, but you can already tell that the market ain't believing him anymore. Like I need to see a couple generals or mullahs across the table from my brother Dan Kane. I'm old enough to remember General Norman Schwarzkopf sitting in a tent across from Iraqi generals. Do you remember that? Man, the highway of death out of Basra. That was awful. Uncle, they called Uncle. That is when I'll believe the bottom is in here. But it just does not look right now. So we potentially might have more to go. I do currently have a trade on out the Friday in case that happens. Breaking news, Mullah loves me. I love the Mullah, and it's over with. I'm not lying this time, it's over with. I have a trade on. But I'm going to place right now what I call a tredge. It's a trade. I don't place a trade unless I think it's going to make money. I don't gamble. But a hedge, I actually don't mind losing money. Now you might be sitting there going, wait a minute, I'm in a trade brief and this guy just said yeah. Folks, I never got out of the F-18 and looked at my ejection seat and said, what a waste. That was stupid. No. So we squeeze those two things together and we do what's a tredge. A trade, I think, is going to make money. I'm pretty sure. And it's going to serve as a hedge against my long-term bullish positions. I have long-term positions in Raytheon, JP Morgan, SIBO, Chicago Board Options Exchange. I got a lot of stuff going on, and they're all taking it on the chin a little bit, but I don't care. They're years into the future. Tomorrow, I'm going to show you a long-term bullish trade using options on either Amazon or the Chicago Board Options Exchange or Raytheon. Depending on the amount of time that I have, it'll be probably two of those names. But for right now, since we're talking about S&P 500 today, let's stick with SPX. Here's what I'm going to do. It's going to get worse before it gets better. And I think, let me pull up the calendar here. We're already in April, essentially. I had heard he wants something by Easter. I don't think that's going to happen. I said I think we're in the third quarter. It ain't the first half. We're early in the second half. Man, they're hitting E3 AWACS in PSAB. That's bad. 2 weeks. Let's go out to April 10th. Okay, April 10, and I'm going to step you through how I look at things. April 10th, ladies and gentlemen. Right now, the S&P 500 is at 6405. Does everybody see that? SPX is the symbol. That's the index. I don't trade SPY, folks. SPY is an ETF. You can get assigned shares. The SPX settles in cash. If you don't know what any of that, you need to join, and I'll teach you this in your options weapon school training. Let me rock here. So right now, ladies and gentlemen, we're at 6405. Right here, if you don't know which way the market is going to go by next Friday, I'm going to show you a little trick. What was that, April 10th? Ladies and gentlemen, you see this? Let's just round up and say 240. The options market, as soon as I said the word options market, is pricing in a move of 240. Let me just round up. Double that. What's that? 480. What do I mean by that? Does everybody see this Elizabeth Warren Pocahontas teepee up here? The options market currently is pricing in that the S&P 500 could rip up to, let me write these down, 64, or I'm sorry, 66, I'm going to round up, 50, and down to 61.75. Why did I just say 50 over here and 75 here? Because you're going to learn in your options weapons school that the S&P 500, SPX, moves, you can see it on my screen, in $25 increments. I need to update it because we imploded even further than where does everybody see this? Do you see that SPX moves in 25s, right? This morning, look at this, to a 25, bounced off a 25, back up to a 25. It does it up here too. Friday, we just imploded all the way down. There was no support. Okay, so I'm going to put on what I call a trade that acts as a hedge. Let's start with the roof. And let me pull SPX up over here. The top, not me guessing, the top based on the options pricing was 66.50. Where is that? 66. It's above the two. It's around here. So by next week, the market's saying, hey, it could stay below there, and then the bottom, Jesus, I mean, 61.75 is all the way down here. You could drive a truck through how wide that is. But let's start by putting the roof on first. I don't think it's going to get by next Friday above 61.70. I'm sorry, 66.50. Let's go find 66.50. And if you have no idea what's going on right now, I'm going to show you in a couple minutes how you can take options weapon school and you're going to learn all of this. I'm going to go down to the next 25, 66.25. So I'm going to sell a next Friday 66.25 call. That's me saying I don't think the S&P 500 is going to be above 66.25 by next Friday. What if you're wrong, Liz? Peace breaks out, Trump flies to Tehran, everything's great. Well, that's why I'm going to buy an upside call against it. So this, I'm bearish, I'm using calls, and this is a spread. This tactic is called a bear call spread. It's also called a credit spread. I'm bringing in $130 to do this trade. Okay, let's look at the risk. I'm risking 370 to make 130. High probability trade, obviously, using at the money volatility in these options. So you could just, first of all, you could do nothing. Wiz, I have no idea what's going to happen by next Friday. I'm going to sit on my hands. Smart. Or you could say, I don't think we're going to really have peace or everything by next Friday, but I don't think we're going to rally that high. So yeah, you could just do this. You could just do the bear call spread. Or you could add what I'm going to do right now. Like, man, this is a dead cat bounce. All of these rips have been sold and we go lower. Why don't we take some of this money or all of it and buy the basement? We just put a roof on with this bear call spread. Let's go buy the basement. What was the basement starting at? 61.75. I'm going to go buy a 61.75. This was all looking at the money straddle. I'll teach you all of this. Okay. All right. So buy an April 10, 61.75 put. Holy crap, Wiz, that's expensive. I'm not done yet. Why is divorce expensive? It's worth it. Why are those 61.75 puts expensive? Because there's a lot of dudes and ladies out there going, we're going lower. This is $100 oil for another month. We're screwed. But so this would be called what I call a burner trade, right? unlimited. I mean, this thing, if we implode, you're not making 600 grand, folks. That's the S&P's at zero. That's not going to happen. But you could make a lot of money just buying that put. I'm not doing that. What if I sell a lower strike put against it? I'm going to go 50. So 61.25. And again, I'm going fast. I'm assuming you're already a TGO member. Many of you aren't, but you're going to learn this. I'll tell you about options weapons school in a couple minutes here so you can get up to speed. Now look at this trade. Spending 800 bucks. 800 bucks to potentially make 4,200 bucks. Bearish double vertical. There's the bear call spread. There's the bear put spread. If I'm wrong, by next Friday, we rip. First of all, my bullish on America trade will be printing money. That's the most I can lose. 1,300 bucks. If by next Friday, let me just pull the chart up in the background, we see something like this. Hey, Trump said everything's great. No, it's not. We're going to implode. Look at all of these. Down, up, down, up, down, up, down, up. Super down, super up. I think we go down. And of course, right, Murphy's Law says the second I put on this TREDGE, this traded acts as a hedge, piece is going to break out. That's fine. What did I say? It's a TREDGE. It's a trade. I think I'll make money, but it's also protect. If between now and next Friday we do get peace, I'm going to be happy. My long-term bullish positions will turn green again. My bullish on America trade will be printing money. I don't mind losing 1,300 bucks or whatever it is. Does everybody understand this? However, if between now and next Friday it gets worse, I think it will, I could potentially make 4 grand. Ladies and gentlemen, if you had been doing these TREDGEs all the way down, you're rich. So folks, I just showed you how you can make money using options as the market implodes. Let me grab screenshots of this trade so I can send it out to my members. Bearish double vertical. It's a bear call spread and it's a bear put spread. The bear call spread finances the bear put spread. Everybody, I don't understand that. Good. Welcome aboard. You're joining right now and you're going to go start your options weapons school training. This is why I do the options weapons school training, folks, is so I don't teach too much during the briefs. I execute, right? New SPX April 10 TREDGE. Okay, at everyone. Then I go get the images of the trade and they're going to get the alerts. You guys are free. You ain't getting the alerts. You got to join. There's the image. There's the image. All right, so new SPX April 10 TREDGE. And again, I only show one contract. I don't give investment advice. I'm not a broker dealer, registered investment advisor, any of those things. I'm showing you what I'm doing. What you do on your side of the computer is up to you, and that's between you and God. Hell, do 3 contracts, do 5, do 10, do 0. That's up to you. Okay. Any questions on that? Does anybody have any questions on that? So today we focused a lot on SPX. And let me go ahead and get back here because I want to keep everybody on time. 1111, we went through it. That's an angel number. That's a God number. Let me show you how you can join right now. And I am only taking 25. Today and tomorrow is full throttle. Then we're over. And then I'll show you some solo AI on Wednesday. That's a separate service. What do you need to trade successfully, folks? You need training. I did not say education. I said training. Fighter pilots are trained. Doctors are trained until they're all replaced by AI eventually. A building block approach. I'm going to show you options weapons school in a second here. 9 training sessions. Building block approach. I didn't show up to Pensacola Naval Air Station and them say there's an F-18. This is a wing. That's a cloud. This is an engine, right? I'm going to take a building block approach with you in options weapons school. Then you need a tight plan. I didn't formally step through it, but as I went through those two trades, I did the trade plan formally. And then you got your training, you got a trade plan. You need to practically apply those two things in what? In a live trade brief that you're sitting in right now. Options Weapons School, like I said, a building block approach. I don't even talk about options in the first session. Where do I gather my intelligence? What's the basics of stocks and options? What's the 7-step trade plan? Not until session 2 do I talk about a call and a put. And ladies and gentlemen, if you followed along, check this out, man. Double verticals and burner trades is session 5. Even if you just hung on a little bit in this brief, we'll make you better, right? So, options weapons school standalone is $497. There are some people who just take options weapons school, but it's included in your full throttle membership. Where's Patrick? He posted this last week, man. Look at Patrick. We are trading these market swings with our zero data expiration calls and puts. Look at this. $8,200, man. This was on a Monday. I think it was last Monday, right? I call them lotto ticket calls. I didn't place any today, mainly because I've been focused on my brief, but we could have done a lotto ticket put at the open, right? I went and got my now cold coffee and wanted to do a put. But we are printing money as this market goes up and down. This is another trading service, folks. This is tested over the skies of Iraq and on Wall Street. I know what I'm doing here, man. Other folks give you a ticker and an alert. I give you the why behind it, man. How we make the sausage, the commit criteria, how we're managing risk, and an exit plan before we even place the trade. And again, we do training. The world is full of educated derelicts. I'm heading up to Harvard in a couple weeks to speak at their divinity school about Sacred Warrior Fellowship. But man, it really seems like this country's full of educated derelicts. Training gives you a skill. Greg, I don't know if you're in here, but Greg, great testimonial, man. Several years ago, I checked out TGO and decided to check out 3 or 4 other places. And after that, I came back to Wiz and regret wasting the time and money with the others. I joined Full Throttle, and then he joined Lifetime recently. Wiz is training on synthetic stock. You'll get that tomorrow. For strategic investing, as well as his tactical approach, he knows the terms. To near-term options has already put me up over 31 grand on trades he would have never made without this support and training. Mo's in here. He's a great human being, fellow fighter pilot. He puts the ladder down, man. Mo takes some of his profits and throws it over the fence to the No Fallen Heroes Foundation. A lot of our members do that, which is awesome. I don't ask for it. A lot of these folks do it, man. Hey, that was $8,200. That was found money. I'm going to go throw some over to the fence to help support healing grants for our veterans, first responders, and their families. I don't have enough time. Bullshit. 2 live trade briefs, man. 2 live trade briefs a week. I'm going long today. We usually go about 45 minutes to an hour. I do not sit here all day and trade. I would rather get my teeth drilled than sit here and trade. I would have been, I'd be done. I don't even trade every day, folks. So saying you don't have enough time is ridiculous. You get the alerts on your phone. You got a trade plan, the options pocket checklist. This is designed for people with jobs, families, and normal lives, not day traders. I don't have enough money. Folks, I'm going to show you tomorrow with Amazon and Raytheon for a couple $100. You can get long-term bullish on these names. You don't need tens of thousands of dollars. You do have the money to trade. Not experienced enough. Good. No bad habits to break. I remember I showed up to primary flight training for the Navy. I had my private pilot's license. That was perfect. That was enough. Why? There was a buddy of mine, we're friends now. He was a Learjet pilot. He flew corporate for a couple of years, and I want to go be a fighter pilot. Top Gun came out. They almost failed him out. Bad habits. The Navy's going to train you how to fly. Don't show up. So, and if you think you're good, just like a Top Gun, I'm going to make you better. I guarantee you. So this is like 2 weeks ago. I think I took these screenshots. Look at this, Scott, $1,600 profit. Paul, $500 in an hour. Brent, $3,200 in 2,800 minutes. $1,500. Great day. I'm not going to read all that. That's an eye chart over there. But folks, we have 105 5-star reviews on Trustpilot. You can go look at your own. All right, here we go. 25 people. Today, tomorrow, once we hit tomorrow and go to Wednesday, we're done with Full Throttle. The best way to go is Full Throttle Max, right in the middle. That's one trade essentially in the S&P 500. In one of my sniper shots I do throughout the day, I can pay off that annual membership. I'm not looking at one of those right now. Let me go grab the link though before I forget. Right here. There we go. Trade groups, Full Throttle. All right. So the best deal is to do an annual. I'd say about 90% of TGO members do the annual member. Wiz, the Tredge didn't post to the member site. It's right here. The Tredge is in the member site. It's right there. Okay, so ladies and gentlemen, there's the link. Let me pull up the slide again. If you want to, it's funny because people are like, do you have a trial? Yeah, you're in the trial. It's 3 days of live trading and training. Some people charge for access. I don't. So do we have a trial? Yeah, you're in it. If you want to keep kind of kicking the tires after Tuesday, it's $295 a month. Okay. You do not get access to the Hunters, the investment club I just showed you. So if you want to kick the tires for a couple months, it would be that. I would not do that because this is the 50% discount off of that. So left and right side of this slide are tire kickers. Super tire kicker on the left, meaning and serious tire kicker on the right. In the middle is where you're going to end up anyway. So that's why I'm telling you about it now. Does everybody understand that? Okay. Only 25, and my phone's been busy. Yeah. So there's about 3 Full Throttle annual memberships right there. Bruce, you nailed it, man. The lifetime is the way to go. We'll get to that eventually. All right. I'll spend the next, 8 minutes answering questions. I hate going an hour and a half, folks. You get weekly live trade briefs, you get the replays, you get the alerts, you get options weapons school training, which is included. It's $500. You get your manuals and the ready room. So let me go scroll up and start answering some questions here. Okay. PJ, kick the tires, man. $295 a month or $497 gets you access to this. This is called the Hunters, where I just posted all these alerts, right? Your fellow TGO member. Here's a perfect example of last week, a drink and money call, 0 days to expiration. What's up, Pete? It didn't post in the ready room. I have no idea what you're talking about, Bob. It's right here. There's the ready room, Hunters positions. There's the Tredge. Pete, Full Throttle is better than sliced bread and the wheel. Wow, that's pretty big. Wiz, can you show the long-term SPX trade you put on? Sam, join. It's right here. It's in the member area. Let me show you what our other member area looks like. So right now we're in the primary live trade brief. So after I get done rambling here, over here is where the replay is going to be posted. I clicked primary live trade brief replay. Let me close that. You click view the replay. You click view the replays, and here's last week's. Right. Get done this brief. There's gonna be a summary posted, and then you scroll down, and there's the trades. This is what we did last week. Right. We did a weekly Amazon bull put spread. All the trades are right there. So this is what the replay and the videos are. This is what this looks like. Okay, the replays. Just show you what the member area looks like real quick. And over here is Options Weapons School. That's where you can Start your training right there. Phone just buzzed 2 more times. That means 2 more sales. So there's all your options web here. There's all the sessions. And then over here on the right, you download your workbooks, right? Your primary, intermediate, and advanced workbooks. Those things are worth their weight in gold, man. Those are about 197 bucks of workbooks right there. This is what you need to trade successfully, folks. Trust me. If I had TGO when I was, man, started trading options before Al Gore invented the internet, man. And I was reading books. If I had TGO when I was learning to trade, I'd be, um, Elon Musk would be working for me. Any other questions, concerns? Uh, You know what? Look at this. Difficult to listen to all the bearishness in today's briefing after suggestion was made to buy the 6650 call on the likely good news by today. I get this whole thing is unpredictable, but where was all that bearishness just a few days ago? Chris, I appreciate this, man. Where was the bearishness a couple days ago? A couple days ago, I didn't see an E3 AWACS Sentry hit on PSAB, Prince Sultan Air Base. This is what makes a market, man. So, where was all the bearishness last week? It was buying a bullish double vertical, or actually the bull S&P 500 trade years into the future, right? So, like I said, Chris, I can be bipolar. We can be you can two things can be true. I can be bullish and I can be bearish. But I will tell you, Chris, last week, I had it on incredibly good authority that they were meeting this weekend to try and get something done this weekend. I don't know what to tell you. It clearly didn't happen. That's what happens in this market. Cindy, was this supposed to post in the solo AI position alerts also? No. Cindy, as I said, we are in a free full throttle week. Monday is the primary brief. Tuesday is the accelerated retirement brief. The solo AI brief will be on Wednesday. So technically, Cindy, all the solo AI people that are in here right now just got free S&P 500 trades. Sam, what did I just say? Wiz, last week you said buy with both hands. I did, and I did with a bullish on America trade years into the future. One more time, I'm going to tell people who are confused, you can be bipolar. I can be long-term bullish years into the future thinking that this will pass and short-term bearish. So to Chris's point, I did. I put on a potential peace deal trade over the weekend that's underwater right now. That's what happens. So and let me lead with that, folks. If you don't like volatility and swings and up and down, and then sit on your hands, go grab some popcorn, turn off your brokerage account for the next, call it 3 weeks. Just go take a break. But yeah, I borrowed other people's hands to buy. Awesome. So, folks, let's take a look at a trend real quick. Let's look at a 5-year chart of the S&P 500. Does anybody see a trend? Right? Joe Biden's bear market, 25% decline in the S&P 500 in a year. Look at this. That's 2022, folks. That was in a year. So after that recovery, we've moved up and to the right, but it's not a straight line. Does everybody understand that? So you can be long-term bullish and short-term bearish. But to Chris's point, when I placed that, hey, potential peace trade last week, what was that, Tuesday? I don't do Thursday, Friday briefs, folks, so it was either Monday, Tuesday, or Wednesday, right? Chris, I don't know if you're in here, Chris. But between me placing that trade and today, folks, we have rumors of potential, boots on the ground. I thought he said no boots on the ground. We put boots on the ground, folks, the market will implode. So that's why I put on the bearish trade. Everybody understand what's going on here. Trump weighs military move to extract Iran's uranium. If he puts boots on the ground, the market will implode. God for my son's driving to Dover Air Force Base. God forbid in the next 2, 3, 4 weeks, we see caskets flying home to Dover. It will be a horror and the market will implode. So my intel last week was he wants to get a deal done by Easter. You don't want to be bombing. You don't want kids to be flying home in caskets on Easter, man. So didn't turn out that way. And here's part of the problem. And I started the brief with this, and I'll close the brief with this. Folks, he might be talking to dudes that are like, please don't kill me. I got a text from the Mossad. The Mossad has all these guys' numbers, by the way. Like, we're going to kill you and your family. So I guarantee you Trump's talking to guys that are like, please don't kill me. We want peace. I'm your friend. They're not talking to the other dudes who are rippling off rockets based on Russian and Chinese targeting. So as of today, I think we got lower to go. Now, me saying that, of course, means the market's going to bottom out and we're going to rip higher. Good. I'm going to show you my other long-term bullish positions tomorrow in Raytheon and CBOE and stuff like that that are taking it on the chin. So we will find out. So how can we control Hormuz without putting boots on the ground? William, man, we are in a bad place. There you go. America downs cheap drones with $1 million missiles as fixes in the works. Defense companies are racing to develop cheaper missiles. So, ladies and gentlemen, here's your homework, right? RTX, this is a steal down here. Let me pull up this chart. You want to talk about buying something with both hands? We're going to get long-term bullish on Raytheon tomorrow. I'm going to show you a cheap long-term bullish on Raytheon. I mean, look at this. Anybody see a trend here? If you bought Raytheon right there, why would I buy Raytheon right there, Wiz? I mean, clearly it's the bottom. It was October 8th. If you bought Raytheon the day after Hamas invaded Israel, you're up like 200% in the stock. In the options names, I already showed you that slide, 800%, 900%. So this pullback up here is a gift for Raytheon. They do not have enough stuff. Donald Trump singling them out like more. Build another factory. I'll sign an executive order right now. Build everything you can. So this is a gift. Your homework for tomorrow's brief, let me write that down. We'll cover Raytheon. We'll cover Raytheon tomorrow. And probably, well, I don't know, Cibo or Amazon. But this is a gift right there. Raytheon it's begging to be bought right here. And we'll talk about that tomorrow. I went 2 minutes over. Ladies and gentlemen, I think that's 4 or 5 buzzes of my phone. So there's some good people. And I have an alert for annuals. So those are all annual memberships too. $295, Wiz, I'd like to keep kicking the tires for a couple months. $497 if you want to keep kicking the tires and get access to that alert service, the Hunters. $29.95 is going to get you access to all of that stuff. Everybody ends up in here anyway. So if you want to kick tires, go on either flank. If you're ready to get airborne right now, $29.95, I would do that. There you go. Look at Paul. Bought Raytheon last summer at 140. The synthetic stock's up 400%. Ladies and gentlemen, I'm going to show you how using options, you're never going to look at stocks ever again. I guarantee you. Okay. All right. Like I said, replay is going to be posted right here on this replay page, as will the rest of the replays from tomorrow and Wednesday. If you have any questions, concerns, oh, by the ways, smart remarks, keep them to yourself, but I'm always available. Wiz at TopGunOptions.com. Or when you become a member, check this out over here in our member area. Just shoot me a chat, baby. There you go. I chat with people all the time, man. So there's our chat function in our room here and everything like that, man. There's our solo AI thread we'll talk about. Oh, man, all these robots and everything like that. Woo! And then there's our hunters. You can join the hunters today. If you want access to these trades, they're right there. The Tredge and then the bullish on America trade years into the future. All right, guys, have a great rest of your day. Fights on, namaste, and basi, basi. I'll see you guys tomorrow for day 2 of full throttle training. Cheers and fights on. I'll see you.